around here. What I was reading and working, what touched me these days was about that story in the Talmud about friendship, about the importance of friendship. I would say that this topic was on my mind, is on my mind for this week. Like uh, sometimes we get friendship for granted, you know. It like I was and I was reading and listening to some podcasts, and I listened to one that the author suggested an act of imagination that I found it quite brilliant. And it was quite simple but quite brilliant for me about to one feels the importance of friendship. So I've been to this subject this week, I would say.
Cool. Can you share the story from the Talmud?
As I shared in select readings,
Mhm.
I also we had our Zohar meeting on this week, right? And I shared with Rodrigo that now is here. Hello, Rodrigo.
Good morning.
And with friends. It's a Mishnah, right? About the name of the sage was Honi McGill. I don't know if you know this story yet.
Honi Amagel, yes.
Yes.
Honi,
You,
the circling man. He used to
yes,
circle all the time. Yes.
yes, yes. Yes, exactly. So you know the story better than me yet. But I found it quite beautiful and intriguing.
Because there are a few stories about Honi, the circle man. So one is that he was like helping people to get some rain, and another one is that he was going to sleep and he woke up after 70 years and the world changed. So which one of them? Yes. Or did you
I
read more? Because there are many stories about him.
read in Sefaria,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about it starts with the rain, right? And it was not raining in Israel, so he 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 draw the circle and goes to the circle and pray. Then the rain fall. Okay, goes like this. But the thing is that I think that the both stories in the end that he stayed away for a long time. And when he returns to his yeshiva, let's say, to his bite of study, uh, he could not find his friends. So he starts to pray and he dies. And the prayer that he was raising was about that if he could not find a friend, it was better to be dead. I found quite beautiful the story of this uh, this story, you know, about the honey.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for sharing the story about
Thank you.
Honi. Yes. He was praying for them that the rain would come, and then the rain came, and then they asked him to stop, to pray that the rain would stop. And he said, I cannot pray for goodness to stop. That was his answer. It is interesting because, good morning, Felipe, Rodrigo, Jill. It is interesting because we always have the sense that we know or we have the gist of what is good or how much goodness we need, and we are trying to moderate, so to speak, reality according to our needs. But this is a completely different take life than what we think. life has a completely different way than we even can imagine. This is why, and I would like to speak about this weekly portion, Parashat Vayera. This is the second weekly portion from the book of Exodus, Sefer Shmot. And this conversation in the burning bush, that this encounter with Moses is that I was seen to the fathers, to the patriarchs, yes, as El Shaddai. The English says I was seen. The Hebrew Nodati is like from knowing. They knew me by the name El Shaddai, but from or by the name being, I'm not known. Do we understand the difference between knowing and being? Yes, what is the difference between knowing and being, and why knowing is connected? Let's start with what is the difference between knowing and being. What is this difference, Fernando?
That being is broadly than knowing, because knowing is just part of the truth, let's say, of the just part of everything, because not knowing is bigger than the knowing, really. So the being is when you balance these two poles, like you have the secret and you have the revealed. It's not, and while the knowing is just the revealed.
Excellent. Yes. This is why, in a way, in the land of narrow, or when we feel narrow, or we feel like the conversation is in the desert or in the burning bush, or Moses asked, if they will ask me, whom did send you? Hello, Cindy. Moses says, what shall I give them in as an answer? And the reply was, my name is being. Something which is unknown, not familiar. You cannot define it. It's formless. And it's bigger than what we know. Again, what we know is smaller than what we don't know. The infinite is always bigger than the finite. And with the sense of infinite comes the Exodus. We can live, in a way, the land of narrow. Because the land of narrow, the land of Egypt, or the will of Egypt, is narrow. Why? Because it is connected to what we know. What we know is narrow. Yes. Yes. What we know is narrow. This is also why in families, many times we feel stress, because this is what we know, the people that we think that we know, or we meet them quite frequently. So it is quite little or narrow, because, so to speak, you meet the people that you know. So, and this is finite, narrow, finite, knowing. Yes, of course, Fernando, please. Can you hear
Yeah.
Felipe? Can you hear Fernando, Jill, Rodrigo? Can you hear Cindy? Can you hear Fernando's voice?
Hello, friends. Okay.
Hello, hello.
Uh, we had our encounter days from the Brazilian friends, and one of the friends got a question that I found quite intriguing. That Shaddai appeared to the patriarchs, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, while Hashem appeared to an orphan, Steti, I think, and appeared to Moshe, you know, that not patriarch for the tribes or for Israel. Would you expand this idea to why not appear to a patriarch? I think that you are not on stage. You need to come back to so we can listen to you. Left the stage. I think it.
Oh, hello, Fernando. Can you
Oh
hear?
yes, it. Now yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting. Yes, there was like a disconnection because of the volume issue. Now it's better. And yes, the conversation in the burning bush is with, so to speak, with an orphan, with Moses. So to speak, he doesn't have parents. He has a foster father and all great. Let's say he has a foster mother and foster grandfather, but he does not have any parents that he knows. And in a way, being can always come and speak to the unknown. Is this clear?
Yes.
He doesn't know his parents. He was taken. It's 3 months. Yes, so he doesn't know his mother, his father. He doesn't know that he also have brother and sister, so to speak. He doesn't know anything, and therefore the conversation is with the unknown. Also, the same structure we find in the book of Esther. She doesn't have parents. This is what we learn. She has an uncle. She does not have parents. She doesn't know what is the, so to speak, father and mother. Not knowing. This is the hidden. This is the natural mode of the hidden. Not knowing anything. Not knowing any person. Not knowing situations. It's like a virgin moment. And Moses comes in a way from the. It is quite interesting because it's the same structure. He does not have the story. Let's say the other Hebrews in Egypt, they can tell themselves the story. If we go through this lens of the biblical, let's say, structure. The other Hebrews in Egypt, sorry, they can tell themselves. Those are the patriarchs, ta-ta-ta-tam, ta-ta-ta-tam, ta-ta-tam, and they can tell themselves this story. He can't. This is why, yes, the introduction in the conversation is Moses does not have this story. He grew in the palace in Egypt. He does not know, so to speak, from his family about former generations. He doesn't have this story. Felipe is writing. Yes, Fernando, did you want to say something?
City, one thing that appear also this question is the pharaoh, right?
Yes.
And his expression also is always ani pharaoh. I am
Yes.
pharaoh,
Yes.
like know who I am, you know, like
Yes.
just this difference of frame. You know, Moshe is the one who doesn't know
Yes.
his origin, everything, and the pharaoh is the complete opposite. Is the one who knows everything.
Why, when Moses asks to go to the desert and to celebrate for 3 days, like a pausa from the slavery, and Pharaoh asks, "Who is this being that I shall hear his voice? Mi Havaya, who is this being that I shall hear the voice of the hidden?" So what? You come, Moses comes, stands in front of Pharaoh, stands in front, in the meaning of stand in front of knowing, of selfing, and says, on the behalf of not knowing or being, we would like to celebrate 3 days in the desert. And what do you mean you're going to celebrate for the unknown in the desert? I want to know. I am the king, I'm Pharaoh. We usually look at a biblical story as like, and the natural mode is to look at it as historical happening, but it is all the time happening. People speak, everybody knows me in the city. I have many friends. Everybody knows who I am. This is the selfing. This is Pharaoh's speech. When people speak like this, everybody knows me. There is no one person in the city that doesn't know who I am. Yes, yes, Pharaoh. Pharaoh is the one who knows, and Moses inside does not know. This is the combat, so to speak. Until the knowing will get 10 plagues, and then the hands will be up. It is funny because we always presume that we know. In fact, we know nothing. Questions about, yes? Does the hand,
Also,
yes?
friend
Yes?
Sergio, a
Yes?
beautiful story about the pharaoh
Yes?
that he was only 30 centimeters. Did you ever heard about this story?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yes, I don't know where it came from, but it was quite nice to listen because he brought the idea that the pharaoh is a man with 30 centimeters only. And what does it mean? You know, why 30 centimeters? And this friend made a analogy with the mouth, the bad mouth, you know, because we have the pharaoh, the bad mouth, we can take it with the letters, right? So to bring that idea, but I could not expand anymore about the 30. It's just I think that Rodrigo now can expand it.
Speak. Yes. Yes, please. Thank you, Fernando, for the story from Lucas.
Hello, Echi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning. How do you do?
Oh, I'm fine, Yeti. Thank you very much. Hello, Fernando and everyone. Yanis, Felipe, Jill, Cindy. Nice to be here. Yeti, I
Yes.
just have a commentary about this topic related to El Shaddai and the Tetragramma. Uh, I noticed that, can I say, it's interesting that the name Moses 345 has a numerical relationship with El Shaddai, which is also 345, right?
Yes.
345.
Yes.
And the patriarchs, on the other hand, have a numerical relationship with the tetragrammaton. For
True.
example, 7 times the tetragrammaton, 8 times, and 9 times tetragrammaton. But they only knew El Shaddai. So the numerical relationship of the names is, how can I say, inverse to the name of God that they related to. I don't know if you understand me, because the name
Yes.
of the patriarchs is related to the tetragrammaton, and the name of Moses is the same numerical value of El Shaddai. Just to share this, how can I
Yes.
say? I just noticed this and just to share with you and our friends. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's true. If you look at it, yes, hello everyone. Happy to see you here. If you look at this into the name, not just the value, like Jacob is 7 times being Isaac, is 8 times Abraham inside. Yes, this is the inner, this is the mode of being. But both names have, like, in a way, two aspects: the manifested and the hidden. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Why the being, the sense of being, is so important, or why this is the call of going out of Egypt? Why the sense of being, in a way, comes with the Exodus? Who can explain it? And not just in historical perspective. Why the sense of being when someone, yes, is in a mode of being is so important? Can you explain that? What the sense of being inside implies? Rodrigo, Jill, Fernando, Abigail, Felipe, Yanis, Cindy. What the sense of being implies? Yes, Fernando?
And this, I think that the sense of being implies presence, mostly,
Yes. Yes.
and it
The press. Yes.
implies mobility.
Yes. It's unconditional. The being is unconditional. And the sense of unconditional is just, we're not in the situation. We're not in Egypt because this is just a perception. It's a concept. The sense of space and time, in a way, is a concept. Do we understand that?
Yes.
And all the troubles that, so to speak, the brain or the thoughts are flooding us is just a concept. It's not really existing. For us, it seems real. It seems valid. It is even very tangible. but it ain't. Because when a thought, any kind of thought, is crossing or is coming, the tendency is to be lured and to accept it as full, complete, absolute truth. But once the thought is moving, the river flows, and the thought just really move down the river, and it's not encapsulating inside. It's like never been existed, unless if you return and try with all the powers to hold in the thought. It's not existing anymore. The thoughts are all the times are coming. Yes. Yes. The thoughts are coming all the time. Yes. Yes. This is the thing, what you're right, Cindy. This is it. When somebody is passing away, who's holding the story about life? Who is telling you what life is about? Everything is very subjective. The story, the experience is very, very subjective. And when someone moves away, who will celebrate the holidays? Who will be charmed from colors and fruits and art, because there is no awareness or consciousness to accept it? Yes. This is the meaning of living, Cindy, always to die. When there's a constant death of what? Of what we think life is, there's only living left. What we consider as dying is just quitting on a certain perception that we have. This is what we considered as death. Yes. What expectations? Interesting is the expectation. X in English is outside. X like exit, outside. Expectation. In Hebrew, tzipiyah. Tzipiyah. Yes, like we say, covered with gold, mitzupeh zahav, is something external. Yes, expectation. When someone has expectation regarding something, or as for another person, it means at the same moment of expectation he's out of the world. Because he assumes too, he expects from a situation to become A and B. So there's the person and the situation. Or there's expectation from someone else. So there's the one, expect from the other. So there are two. So any expectation wires on the sense of duality. Once we expect, Felipe, you're taking voyage on a hammock, meaning you expect that something outside of the world will supply, because there is assumption of two, that something will come to you from the outside. And you see yourself, or the one who has expectations, sees himself as external to the world. This is illusion. Any expectation is immediately, wake up, you're dreaming. When you have the thought or the sense of expectation from any moment, from the shop, that the shop will provide whatever you need, it can be anything, that the radio will provide the right music, everything, that the sky will provide with rain. Any expectation, it's just duality. Because any expectation immediately arises the pictures of two. When we expect that someone will come, that someone will call, yes, that a movie, great movie, will be now streaming somewhere in the streaming services, at this moment there's like narrowness because we expect that another component source will provide. So at this moment, I see myself, or the one who has this expectation sees himself outside of the world. And anyone who sees himself outside of the world is like a king, because he governs the world and he expects that the world provide. So Pharaoh is not outside, is the inside. When we expect something, this is very good exercise. Yes, any kind of expectation from nature, from people, from software, whatever. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, Fernando.
It makes me remember about a theory from Lacan, the French analyst, where he speaks about the frame that everybody is consuming all the time, the capitalist frame, let's say, but and that you need to consume to buy things to fulfill yourself, like a person is always following Lacan's theory. A person is always trying to fulfill this hollow, this emptiness that we have. He advocates that someday you're gonna realize that nothing will fulfill it. It is the complete hollow, let's say, the complete nothing that exists. He could accept, how can I say this? I'm trying to find the word, but I think that his theory could find the target if he substitute the word nothing or nothingness, because it is not a whole, it is not an empty place. It's the place of the infinite, in fact, when you found that it is already feel you do not need another item in your home, or in your mind. I don't know if I make sense it, but just it came to me this explanation.
Thank you so much. There is a beautiful also text from the Little Prince, how the author of the Little Prince, or in the book itself, that he says that people always expect to go to a shop and to find there whatever objects that they can find to fill themselves, but they still don't find friendship. The more people buying, it doesn't supply them with friendship. I'm not sure that this is what you meant, Fernando, or what this is what analyst meant. we have, let's say, in the beginning, there is a sense of having objects around is something that, let's say, make people comfortable inside, but the more truth comes in, there is understanding that everything exists. And it's not about having things or owning things, everything exists. Questions? Have you experienced, because most of the people here are living, let's say, in a Western civilization, have you experienced, and everything is, maybe you can share your moments here with us. Everything sits on the schedule and let's say precise schedule. Have you been experiencing a moment that you in a way went out, left the house, and you prepared inside to go somewhere else and something else happened? Then you prepared yourself, or how does it in your life is happening? Can you share, or just you go and there's the same routine every day? How is it? Do you experience different moments, or everything is the same? Who would like to share? You can also unmute and speak. Cindy, Jill. The more we shall leave or let go, release the thoughts of who we are, the less fresh moments we shall experience. Once the mind is not subjective to those stories, everything is available for us. The more freedom we shall experience and less limitations whatsoever. Mhm. Yes, Felipe.
Hello,
Hello.
Eti.
Good morning. How do you do?
Hello, I'm fine, Eti. Thank you. I was just listening, and this moment, this period of time, let's say, I could put some thoughts on this, and it's impressive. When you, I mean, when we try to forget a little bit about the selfing, this is main theme, Eti, I'm thinking about. Trying to not think about a lot, but trying to leave it. And it's curious because many times we feel like, let's say, in a situation we are angry or feel sad or feel upset, and suddenly we can assume that this is just selfing. because you are upset because someone didn't act like you thought they should act or something like that. And suddenly if you drop this this upsetness, this kind of emotion, if you just drop it, you realize that there is no one to blame. There's nothing to blame, and things are just as they should be. And we mostly act like we would like to act. And I just experienced some moments of this, and it was really really good because there is a kind of lightness, to drop the load of being, the load of selfing, as the song. In fact, I was just thinking about this song, the load of selfing.
It's a load.
It,
It's a load.
yes, it's a load because um, even when you like something too much, it's a load, because when you do not have, you feel sad. So
Yes.
in a way, it's, just to share this experience that it's been like really intense this last month, let's say, because I think it has to do also with growth, just getting old, and we are a little more, let's say, mature or something. But to understand that there's nothing to change in the others, and it is always okay. It's all good. We don't have to make anything, to change anything, because these changes, these facts that mostly time we are instruments of, they will happen, using our bodies, using our thoughts, and we do not have to worry about them much. Just wanted to share this with you. It's
That's
the
beautiful.
most. This is the something close to being, I guess. Sometimes you.
Yes, it's true. If we want to, thank you, Felipe. If we want to change something, this is or someone. Here's the interesting thing. If we want to change someone, what underline this thought? That the other is a constant happening, or is rigid or solid, and we want to change it. Let's say some people take like wood in the forest, and they take a knife and they shape the wood in the shape of ornament for the house, or a pipe or something they make from the wood. They make from it something. So look how arrogant the thought is, that I would like that someone will change, like if he or she is an object. Of course, no one is an object. It just, through everyone, through the tree, through the bird, life is flowing through us as well. But to presume, listen to this presumption. We presume, or there's a wish inside that the other will change because I want the situation the arrogant, look at the arrogance in it. I wanted somebody else will change for me. I wanted somebody else will bend for me. This is why Pharaoh is in a height of 30 centimeters, Fernando. 30 centimeters, this is the upper 3 spheres. And Pharaoh, this is the thought, yes. And the thought, yes, is luring us to think that we are the kings. And we expect as kings that the kingdom will come to me and everybody will change for me. How arrogant and stupid it is. And 8 billion people having the same thought, arrogant thought, that the world will provide for me and everybody will change for me. 8 billion people thinking the same, if they're aware of it or not. This is what is running the show. But this is a dreaming, because it's not true. Once people are flying here, the soul is just taking wings and leaves the body. What is left behind is the body, and close people are burying the body. And where's the story? As Cindy said, there is no story. So better start dying now. Do you understand? So much space. Once those thoughts, let's say, they will always come because they are mechanically, let's say, generated. We are not generating them. But once there is every day more and more awake, even if for 2 seconds we can hear it, that we are not making life here. We are not life makers. We are not decision makers. We are not those names that we are accustomed to be attached to. Yanis is not Yanis. Yanis is on the name of the doer, the one who signs contracts or, But truth inside is infinite. In a way, look at the coin. In our days, everybody pays online with PayPal or other payments. So maybe in some countries you don't see coins anymore, but a coin, the nature of a coin, that it has 2 sides. In one side, there is a drawing of a palm, of a pomegranate, and on the other side, here in Israel at least, there is a value. It has 2 sides. There's a value. In a way, each and every one of us is like this coin. And his or her name comes on the finite. But the other side of the coin is infinite. So if we look only and we have deep attachment to the names, everything is heavy. And there's a story, beautiful, Felipe. Beautiful. So, and there is attachment to this name, and this is my name, and everybody knows me, and this is my reputation. So people live in this shell. This is something that once the body stays behind, everything is irrelevant. But the more we drop the story that I am the name, and this is my family line, and this is my story, the more we quit this story, life becomes not just bearable, but livable. We were brushed off since early childhood, also in Germany, and here in Israel with the story of the Holocaust and the ancestors, and just we could not escape as children from this story. Just it was enforcing itself. Now it's not just historical, far history, it's also happening here next to every border. It's not just a thing that happened in history, but we were beaten up with this story. If we wanted or not, it was like all the time on TV, in classes, and memorial days, all the time. And we were enforced to read literature before and during the Holocaust and after the Holocaust. And in a way, this shaped a very, very heavy narration on us. And suddenly, it happened to me also. I remember this very, very closely. I was single, I lived in an apartment, and I was all night long learning from the Book of Zohar. I was listening to a lesson. I think it was at the beginning of the internet. I was listening and I was reading. I was awake all night. And the day came. And the day on the calendar that it happened, on the calendar in Israel, they mark it as a Holocaust Day, Memorial Day, and there's sirens, and you have to stand and not to move, and there's like ceremonies, and always the time 24/7 testimonies and movies about people who survived the Holocaust and so. And since I was awake all night and I was introduced or living in different reality, and the day came and suddenly there was a hitting recognition. Oh, today is the Holocaust Day. And I asked myself, I look at the sea and I said, who has experienced this Holocaust Day? And I understood it's just a perception. Not that the Holocaust did not happen, not happening now. It's just who is perceiving it. If you walk with this 24/7, you cannot live a moment of sanity. It's just not, because you are doomed to carry this story. And people have all kinds of story, and a Holocaust is just a little example. It's not little, but just when people are hanging around and carrying all kinds of dead bodies and dead stories upon the back, which have nothing to do with reality or with life. Nothing. Once you quit, and I remember this morning, the morning that it happened, it just cling. It just, what? I was carrying this thing, and what? You can also drop it? Yes, I remember as a kid, it was again, I was a kid again. The devil we grew in a graveyard. I don't know even how to explain you this. I just don't know how it's something that you can't explain it. Just a graveyard all the time. I was a kid and I was visiting a friend. It was Holocaust Day again in May, when the Holocaust Day is the day. When somewhere between April and May, I don't go into this, and I was visiting a friend, and it was 5:30, and she just opened the TV, and she was browsing to another channel, and I said, "What?" It's innocently, yes, I was 10 or 11. Said, "What?" Her name Tali, like Jew, water. I said, Tali, what? You open another channel, like you're browsing to another country? And she said, why not? There's TV. I said, but innocently, but it's a Holocaust Day. And how dare you, in a way, watch something else than those tested, And I was like 11 or 10, okay? And then years are moving, and then I experienced this one night and said, what is this? If you will chew, if you will be fed with this story and through these glasses, and this is your only food, this is how your life will look. Bogged down Yes, with this heaviness, with those bodies that were never nourished, with people without conversation, just beaten up, burned in furnace, I don't know what. This is life. And one day, and in a way, everybody has his own story. Let's go not into this. There is no need. So once you understand, you just drop the story. This is not your story. This is not narration. This is how you've been fed. And if you will reject this story, and people go, okay, this is just an example because it happened to many people, not just the Holocaust, the Second War is something very, very grand, all of this. But what happens when we drop the possession of having this story or narration about myself or ourselves, and then there's a space to live life. And life is great to live because you don't live this life through this, this concentration camp experience. Life is grand. It's amazing to live, and it's not long. And it's not long. We just, I don't know, I don't want to say came up from a war because it's still going on, but every moment we are breathing, it's thank you, God, So, but in this way, yes, people who have this story, and this is the ultimate story, and that this is how they gain control of others, because you should not dance, you should not laugh, you should not smile, not regarding Holocaust Day, but also in houses, because I am the matrona or I'm the patron, and here people do not speak. No, it has many faces, but once you drop the sense of there is a governing or governess or some is the ultimate right from any government, family, I don't know why, what even, just you drop it. So there's only life. Nobody controls life. Not governments, not mayors, not armies, not defense ministries. Nothing. Nobody controls anything. There is a bird. Yesterday I was reading about a bird. In English they call it wagtail, because it's wagging its tail. I was reading yesterday, we always see the bird here before the rain. She comes 48 hours and she's better than any forecast, because when you see the bird, the rain will come. I was reading today that this bird came from Estonia, meaning this little bird that weighed 20 grams, travels by its wings 5,000 kilometers, 5,000 kilometers from Estonia, this is North Europe, to Israel, with its wings, without saying anything. And we have this story, and we have this history, excellent, yes. And we have this story, me and myself, and we have passports, and we buy flight tickets, and we take a suitcase. To what? To sit on a seat in a box of tin and to fly to another country, and there's a lot of announcement, and we inform everyone or not, and we take pictures or not. And this little bird, 20 grams, it's unbelievable. Without saying anything, flies 5,000 kilometers. 5,000 or 4,900. This is the value of Jubilee, 49, Yovel plus 1. So, and we have those stories about myself, about my reputation, about my career, about my family, my people, my nation, my continent, mine. And it's not. It is not. Because what happens when someone passes away. All the things that he used to conjugate as mine are not. Are not. Because there is no bonding to the there is no bonding. So all those things, my life, my name, my history, me, those things that we consider as so important, first of all, they don't exist. Only in our heads. And secondary, when we are having the possession of me, mine, it just makes everything heavier and unbearable as a load. And we cannot live life, and we feel that we choke because it's not real. The more we connect to lies, the more heavier we become. If we feel heaviness, it's because we are not connected to the truth at the moment, so we feel heavy. This is it. There is no reason to feel heaviness whatsoever, unless if we are holding to something which is not existing. If you have questions or if you would like to say something, please feel free to unmute and speak. So if you feel heaviness, and it comes, it's not true. It means at this moment you're just living something like a script or scenario which is not real. Otherwise, you should not feel any heaviness or struggling. This is it. And with this beautiful message, I would like to wish each and every one of you a very happy weekend, lovely season, good friendships wherever you are. Life is beautiful. We're not here for long, so inhale every moment. Thank you so much, and shalom, shalom.